Alrighty, guys, can y'all hear me okay on both chats? Let me double check here. If you're over on YT and you've not been modded yet, please let me know in the chat, and I'll get you modded. I just want to make sure that we have everybody taken care of over there. Awesome. Okay, awesome. Both worked. Yay. All right, guys, we are back. Sorry. We'll be on here for a while. We're going to cover what's going on with our weather. We have got historic snowfall totals that have already been ongoing in pretty much all day in Louisiana into East Texas. We did beat our all-time record for one-day snowfall in the New Orleans area, which is pretty wild to say. It's really technically not that big of a total. It was like 2.7 inches of snow, and we've got over 4 inches. I think we're around that 6 to 7 inch mark as far as the actual snowfall totals go now. And we're still continuing to see snow in New Orleans. Baton Rouge, there you've got a little bit of snow left. Lafayette, you've got a little bit of snow still falling. But back here towards Texas and western Louisiana, we're pretty much almost done with our snowfall totals as far as things go there. We're starting to see snow clearly falling and actually sticking into Alabama, into parts of Georgia now, getting up into the Carolinas. And basically what's going to happen is this is kind of like acting like a line of storms, except it's a line of snow. It's going to basically move very slowly east here, and this will be eventually into portions of Tallahassee, Jacksonville, Apalachicola, along the east coast here along Interstate 95. This is going to allow for some pretty decent snowfall totals to fall along the beaches tonight, and this will probably stay in place through early tomorrow morning before kind of tapering off. I do expect there to be some quite interesting totals as far as the beaches go, and we'll get into those totals here in just a few minutes. But I want to show you guys some of these storm reports that we've been getting over the last couple of hours, and we just actually got a mesoscale discussion a second ago, so I'll read that here in a minute. But currently, as we speak, the winter in snowfall totals, and these are not quite updated all the way on the dot yet. These are still going to continue to come in. I know we've got over 10.5 inches of snow in the Rain, Louisiana area. This was updated a good long amount of time ago. We've got a new 10 or almost 10 inch total just outside of downtown Lafayette here, or Lafayette, I should say, at 9.5 inches. So, kind of just looking across the board here, we're going to see these numbers go up, especially as we go towards portions of Alabama into Mississippi into the panhandle of Florida here. We are not quite done with this yet, clearly. And that is due to, you know, this front moving basically east. Houston metro area picked up between 2 to 5 inches. Beaumont looks like we picked up around 4 to 5 inches. There were some isolated 6-inch spots. Lake Charles, anywhere between 5 to 8 inches was picked up. We've got a little 8-inch total down here towards Grand Lake, but majority of that snowfall is pretty much over with. So whatever snowfall amounts you are getting is pretty much going to stay where it's at that point in time, basically. Let's zoom out here. We'll go to kind of all time within the last 48 hours or so. There we go. All right. We need to read this mesoscale discussion that we just got for heavy snowfall. Moderate heavy snow to continue this afternoon. Ooh, we could get an upgraded blizzard warning potentially. This is interesting. This is very interesting. So, moderate heavy snowfall continue through the afternoon. A broad area of snow continues to shift east-northeast into portions of southern Alabama and the Florida Panhandle, Louisiana, and southern Mississippi. Enhanced upper level flow at 925 millibars to 850 MB. And then we've got photogenic forcing are aiding in moderate to heavy snow production across the regions. Heavy snow observations have been reported from Gulfport through Mississippi to Alabama, or Mississippi to Mobile, Alabama, and into portions of the southeast Alabama over the last hour, with visible dropping of So we've got visibility dropping to 1/4 to 1/2 mile. So that's up there in the blizzard condition category. Alabama near the Florida state line over the next 1 to 3 hours before tapering off later this evening. Would they issue a blizzard warning again? I wonder if it's too late over there. Yeah, I wonder if it's too late over there for them to issue anything yet. This will be interesting. Most of Louisiana should be over with. Hold on, let me move this over real quick. Excuse me. Make sure you guys can hear me okay. Let me do some research in here real quick on something. Yeah, we've got visibility pretty much down to 1/10 of a mile in Pensacola Bay right now. I don't know why we haven't had a blizzard warning upgraded. I mean, this is some pretty gnarly snow banding that's going on over here. It's a little bit concerning, actually. Wow. So this was posted a minute ago. This is the bridge over Pensacola Bay, guys. I'm going to show you all this because this is really interesting. This is the bridge over Pensacola Bay. I mean, this is the traffic camera. You can't see nothing. It's just shaking. There's nothing there. Like, yeah. So that's interesting. All right, so we'll be watching out for Pensacola. I'm interested to see these snowfall totals. So we are starting to get snow into Dothan or Dothan, Alabama here, moving up into, we're getting a transition from rain to snow over here into Albany. If you were in Tallahassee, Panama City, Apalachicola, you are along that line here where we're going to start to see those conditions kind of deteriorate here within the next hour or two. So I do expect those conditions to go down. We'll start to see snowfall go up. I think Jacksonville, for the most part, is going to be sleet/freezing rain. We'll actually go look at some of these totals that we've got here as well. Let me switch over. Let's get Weather Bell pulled up here real quick. Let's go east. Let me get my HER model pulled up. Once again, tap that screen for me, guys. I appreciate y'all. If there is anybody that would like to donate to the stream today, you guys can do that. My PayPal is Mesomat. Y'all don't have to, but if you would like to, you can. Hold on, I need to actually fix something real quick here. There we go. I had to fix it. Okay. Let me get my chat pulled back up here for you guys. Yeah, Charlotte, you guys are going to see snow. Accumulation-wise, we'll have to see on that one. Let me get this map pulled up here so we can actually look at the rest of these snowfall totals and what we could see and what we could not see potentially. Let me get to my surface level winter. Here we go. So this is the HER model. Kind of take this with a grain of salt, guys. This is basically if we don't have any mixing, which is going to be that freezing rain and that sleet. There'll be a little bit of mixing down towards Florida, and we'll get to that here in a second. But this is what the HER model's latest forecast is. And God, we still got another 4 inches of snow that could fall in New Orleans before this is over with. And then you can kind of see a higher swath of snow back here into portions of the southern panhandle of Florida, anywhere from 6 to potentially 8 inches of snowfall there around the Pensacola area, getting closer to like Appalachia over here, 4 to 5. So we're going to see some historic snowfall values, guys. And when I say historic, if you live up in the Ohio Valley or in the Northeast and, you know, you're used to these 8-inch snowstorms or higher than that, that's not what the Southeast is used to. We broke the all-time record for snowfall in New Orleans today, guys. The record back set in it was 1965, I think, was 2.7 inches. We have had over 5 inches of snow in New Orleans today. So we are just shattering these records. We have shattered so many records today, whether it be from East Texas down into Louisiana. Mississippi is already getting to that point. We are breaking all these all-time records that we have seen since the 1900s, which is wild to say. It's not very rare. It's very rare that this happens. So, you know, a lot of people are probably seeing this amount of snow for the first time in their lives that have lived down there all their lives as well. Biloxi, I think 3 to 5, maybe on the higher side of things. We like I said, we've seen these snow maps overdue tremendously. Once again, you know, kind of just looking at some of these totals that are coming in. Look at this, 4.6 inches of snow in the last 3 hours. But we've got 10, wow, Mobile with drifts near the building of 10 inches. So we've got snow drifts when basically the wind picks the snow up and carries it of up to 10 inches over in portions of buildings along the Mobile airport. So this was out of the airport at 4.6 inches. Up here towards Hattiesburg, we're looking at right at a 1 inch snowfall total. South of that, 1 to 2. New Orleans, this is updated. It's going to take some time to get that updated officially. And then down here towards, you know, Pensacola, we're starting to see that snowfall clearly. I think we'll get reports in there, but the Mobile Regional Airport at 4.6, that is a huge jump, as far as these snowfall totals go. Yikes. Atlanta, Georgia, guys, not going to see much. If you guys get anything, it'd be a dusting of snow. I'm not concerned about Atlanta, Georgia, just not on my priority list with that right now, but just be mindful of your conditions. But currently right now, it seems to be that between Rain, Louisiana and Lafayette, Louisiana, those are the highest totals that we've seen. We actually had a 14-inch potential report of snow in the Dusson, Louisiana area as well. So we'll get those final reports in at some point once NWS gets all of those reports in, but we're basically just now getting our event going here in the southeast. So if you're along the beaches, if you're along the Carolinas here, this is that swath of snow that we've basically watched transition from Louisiana and Texas all the way east, which is allowing for our system to move its way east here. Now, like I said, this is going to be in place for the next 10 to 12 hours, especially if you're just now getting into this along the coastlines. I do think personally there will be a 5 to 8 inch, maybe an 8-inch swath of snow somewhere along the beaches. And then down here towards Florida, Jacksonville, Gainesville, Daytona Beach area, just north of that, we're going to see mostly sleet and freezing rain that's going to set up tonight. And then there might be like an hour of snowfall afterwards. So this is going to be a mess down here along the I-10 corridor as it's been. Most people in Texas or East Texas, they're in the Houston metro through Beaumont, Lake Charles, Lafayette. It's a mess, guys. If you are being told to stay off the roads, please listen to that and stay off the roads because, like I said, we have shattered almost every single daily snowfall record from East Texas to Louisiana since this event started last night. Every record has been pretty much broken. There'll be some that clearly still stand because there has been snowstorms. The further east you go along the East Coast, up toward the Carolinas, up towards Georgia, those are a little bit harder to break because we have seen East Coast storms before, but as far as the Gulf goes, a little bit of a different situation. Good news is, too, they are dropping winter storm warnings and advisories behind this. So Lafayette, Baton Rouge, yours expires in about 39 minutes, which kind of makes sense. They may have to extend New Orleans because we're still seeing heavy banding of snow that's moving in this direction. Once again, the highest snowfall totals that we're seeing currently right now based off of radar, we're basically seeing Gulfport, Saraland, Pensacola, Destin. That's where we're going to see those higher snowfall totals is closer to the coast where that heavy banding sets up. And we've also got blinding conditions, guys. Visibility is being reduced to, at least in Pensacola right now, anywhere from 1/10 of a mile to 1/4 of a mile, which is blizzard conditions. We had a blizzard warning for the first time in southwestern Louisiana history this morning, guys. A blizzard warning was issued this morning from the National Weather Service, and that broke another record. I mean, we've never seen that before. So I woke up to that this morning. That was a great old experience. Hold on just 1 second. Yeah, that was just that. It's been a wild, guys. It's been a wild day as far as the weather world goes. Good news is we'll be done with this storm in the next 24 hours. That's probably the best news I can give you guys. At some point tonight on stream, I'm going to give you guys a lowdown and a rundown on what's going to happen this coming up week, or the rest of this week, I should say. If you saw snow or any type of wintry precip today, the problem with that being is you are going to see black ice and refreezing tonight. Temperatures tonight are going to drop into the single digits and teens for mostly everybody. We've got single digits in western and southwestern Louisiana. I've seen some 6-degree temps and some 8-degree temps that are forecasted around the Lake Charles area tonight. With that being said, black ice, refreezing, don't go to nowhere tomorrow. There's no, every single, I've been watching live feeds all day. Every single storm chaser, every single person is out helping on roadways. People are getting stuck. There's not really many people that are not getting stuck in these areas. Even if you have Jeeps, etc., if you have chain tires, people are getting stuck because the roads are not used to being treated down in these areas for snow events like this. And even though you guys were allowed or were able to get some salt trucks down there to help out with this, it wasn't enough. So we're going to have to wait for the sun to come out on Thursday and on Friday. Temperatures should be rebounding on Thursday and Friday, above 32 degrees for most of these areas along I-10 from Texas east. So we should start to see conditions get better, but I do expect schools and businesses to pretty much stay closed at least through Wednesday. That's just kind of my thought process on it. Hold on just a second here. The good news is that, like I said, Texas is pretty much done with their storms, or with their snow, and Louisiana is, we're slowly getting there. Slowly. Ever so slowly. I feel like we've been talking about Louisiana since last night, which we pretty much have been. Okay. Let me take a look at the chat there. Also, guys, if you are not following me on all of my socials, that is in the link tree in my bio. Make sure you guys check that out as well. All my socials where I do my daily posting as well. We're also live over on YouTube as well. So if you guys want to follow me on there as well, you guys can. But we're streaming on both today. Okay. Let me go back to the HER model here. I want to show you guys what we're also looking at as far as the future goes. So we were talking about the snow that's continuing, or what's going to continue. I'm really interested to see what's going to happen in Apalachicola and Pensacola. The HER model specifically has done really, really good with this event so far. The Canadian and the HER model have been pretty spot on with this event. So if we continue to see these totals increase, guys, we could see a pretty good swath of 5 to 8 inches of snow from basically Pensacola and Pensacola, Florida, all the way east up through southern Georgia here. So like I said, a lot of you guys that don't see snow are more than likely going to see historic snow before we get this done and over with today, and it's going to add up. Let me get to the east side here, and we can see these totals a little bit differently. Yeah, and here's another thing that's really interesting. Are we going to get 12 inches of snow along the beaches? If we get heavy banding that sets up, is it possible? Yes. That's your 10-to-1 snow ratio, though. So I want to actually go to, let me get the depth change here. This might be a little bit easier. There we go. I like these numbers a little bit better. They look a little bit more decent. We'll just kind of have to see what the HER does when we start to get these reports in. But we're going to see, guys, I wouldn't be surprised if eastern Georgia and far southern extreme South Carolina get a foot of snow. I would not be surprised. What does the winter, I can't even see the winter storm warnings because they're not even placed out right now. Let's see here. It doesn't even want to load for me. Anyways, we'll get to that here in just a second. But I wouldn't be surprised. You can start to see these darker blues and these white pixels that are popping up. That's extreme heavy snowfall rates of 1 to 2 inches plus per hour. As this heavier band kind of moves towards like Augusta, Georgia, getting over here towards like Columbia, I really am interested to see what's going to happen along that I-95 corridor. I-95, guys, is going to be a mess tomorrow. I want y'all to understand that. If you have to work or go somewhere tomorrow, which I don't think anybody's going to be open, it is going to be a mess. Like, I'm telling y'all, if you live in South Carolina or Georgia, and you guys know that interstate very, very well, it is going to be a mess tomorrow. Do not drive if you physically do not have to drive tomorrow. I wouldn't be driving. It should start to melt no later than Thursday and Friday, but tomorrow is going to be just that day. Stay at home, drink soup, whatever you do to have a day off from work or school. That's the day to do it. It's going to be a disaster. So these are the winter storm warnings that are in effect. These are for 3 to 5 inches of snow. Locally higher amounts. I think we're going to overdo on a lot of these amounts. Ever since this snowstorm started last night in East Texas and Louisiana, we have done nothing but overdue on snowfall amounts. I haven't really seen any underdone amounts. Everything in Louisiana has been overdone as far as predictions go. The winter storm warning that was in effect for central and southern Louisiana this afternoon was calling for 4 to 8 inches. You can see most of these totals, especially in and around the Lafayette area, over 9+ inches of snow. And these aren't even final, guys. I want y'all to understand these were updated at like 2 hours ago, 2 hours, 3 hours ago. So this 10.5-inch snowfall total that popped up at 10:51 this morning, we've had another 4 hours of snowfall since that. We're going to be over a foot. A lot of these areas in southeastern Louisiana are going to see their first foot snowstorm. We might also, I looked this up, there is a all-time record in Lafayette, Louisiana of 14 inches of snow in 1856. That was the last biggest record that was ever set in one day. Could we get close to that? We're already kind of sitting in around that 10-inch mark, and we've still had snow, and there's still a little bit of snow going on. We'll have to wait and see officially from NWS if we break that record, but that would be an all-time record if that record is broken as well. We've shattered records over in Lake Charles. We've shattered records. Houston, I'll have to double check on you guys as well. Not really seen much in the terms of that. We'll just have to see what happens once those official totals officially come in. Let me zoom in here so you guys can see also what we're looking at here. Let me get the Southeast pulled up a little bit easier. There we go. So once again, you know, these are model runs. Kind of be mindful of this. I think this looks a little bit more realistic in terms of what we could see down the road tonight. I will be live, guys. I'm going to stay on here through majority of the evening and tonight, so we'll be here talking and figuring this out. I had got on for like an hour this morning and got really sleepy, and I don't know why I did, but we should be good now. But yeah, we'll be on here majority of the night covering this for you guys as always. This is where I want to see what happens at. So southeastern, once again, southeastern Georgia into southern South Carolina here. So the Savannah, Georgia area, guys, we could get close to a half a foot of snow. Like I said, I know those winter storm warnings only call for 3 to 5 inches. I'm telling you guys, just based off of all of the analysis that we've seen today and all of the totals, we're going to overdo 5 inches of snow for a lot of people. It's just how it's going to be. Back up here in North Carolina, I know a lot of you guys want to know what's happening in the Carolinas. If you are east of Raleigh, you have a decent shot of seeing, I would say, 1 to 2 inches of snow. But if you're in Charlotte, you're going to see snow flurries fly. Are you going to see accumulation? Yes, it's cold enough, but is that moisture going to drag that far to the north? We're going to have to wait and see. I wouldn't count on it. Savannah, Georgia, Myrtle Beach, Wilmington, you guys are going to get potentially up to 6 to 8 inches plus of snow. I've never in my life ever mentioned, is there a chance of there being a half a foot of snow in Savannah, Georgia? I don't think I've ever had to say that, and it's finally been said. So yeah, that's where we're at with this event. It's going to be wild, guys. It's definitely going to be wild. So let me see if I can specifically zoom in a little bit more here. Let's go to the states and let's look. So we'll start in Louisiana. I'll just kind of zoom in here. Accumulation wise, could still see a good 3 to 5 inches before this is done in New Orleans. And like I said, New Orleans right now, you guys are seeing the heaviest banding, those white pixels that are popping up, heaviest banding of snow sitting up over I-10 and going north towards 55 and 59. Lafayette, you're almost done. Alexandria, you're pretty much almost done. Baton Rouge, you're got a little bit of snow to your west, but New Orleans is just getting absolutely pummeled right now with heavy snowfall. And that's why they also had issued that mesoscale discussion. We'll go back to this. This was issued just east of New Orleans where that actual heavy snow is moving. So if you're in Biloxi, Mobile, up towards Crestview, Pensacola, this is moderate to heavy snowfall of 1 to 3 inches per hour. So, and there's also some very, very strong visibility issues with this as well. We're seeing visibility down to, you know, a half an inch, maybe even to a quarter of an inch as far as drive-wise. So there should be nobody driving on the road in this situation here as far as the overall things go here. If you're in central Louisiana, you're pretty much done. So if you're not shaded in a color, your snowfall is pretty much done and over with. We'll get to those. We'll be updating on those totals as they come in through the day, because I know a lot of people want to know what they got, what's still coming. If you're over here towards the Biloxi area, Biloxi, Mississippi, could see another 3 to 5 inches. We'll just kind of see what happens here with that. Let's go to Alabama. Here we go. Yeah, so Alabama's a little bit different. We're just now starting to get things going here in southern Alabama. We've still got a pretty good 3 to 5 inches of snow, and then back here towards east of Pensacola, maybe 5 to 8. The models really like that 5 to 8 graph, and could we see over that? If a heavy band of snow sets up and you get 1 to 3 inches of snow per hour, could see that there. So most of you guys should know where you live at on a map. I don't mean that in a mean way, but I can't pinpoint everybody's location, so just kind of take where you live on a map and place yourself on this as I'm showing it. But yeah, I think east of Pensacola is going to be the higher values for southern Alabama, and then you get up here towards like Apalachicola, 3 to 5 inches of snow, which is what's forecasted for you guys in that winter storm warning. We'll go ahead and go to the East Coast here. Let's go to Florida. Yeah, so Florida right now, clearly, this is your dusting of snow line. I would keep it north of Daytona Beach. Could we see some snow flurries fly in Daytona Beach? maybe. We'll see. It's iffy with that. But I expect majority of the sleet, freezing, rain, and snow. We're going to get an icing event tonight, guys, in Jacksonville. If you're in Jacksonville, Florida, we're expecting that sleet and freezing rain to start here in the next couple of hours as that moisture moves in. There might be 1 to 2 hours of snowfall through the overnight hours that mixes in before this officially exits the coastline. But most of you guys, that's why your snowfall totals are low. We're going to see that mixing. So sleet, freezing, rain, etc. That's just going to be a disgusting mess as far as things go there. And then back, like I said, west over to Apalachicola and Tallahassee, looking at anywhere from 3 to 5 inches of snow for you guys there. Dang, we got 600 people on TikTok. I didn't even notice that, guys. Thank you guys for being in here. If you are new, hit the follow button. I am a meteorology student in Kentucky. We do live severe weather coverage for all severe weather events for all 50 states, winter storm coverage, and hurricane coverage. So if you guys like what we do here, it's me and an amazing, lovely weather team that is behind me of 50 amazing people. Hit that follow button. I do appreciate you guys. Also, follow me on all my other socials. That way you guys can stay up to date when we're not live streaming. I post on, Facebook, etc., all of those other places. That is linked in my bio, so make sure y'all follow me there as well. We're going to be on here pretty much, like I said, through the majority of the night tonight. All right, let me get to Georgia real quick, and then we'll go South Carolina and North Carolina, because I know you guys want to know what's going on here. All right, Georgia's interesting, and I say this because the models, and this is not just this afternoon, this has been through this morning, the models have really been trying to paint a picture of upwards of a foot of snowfall here. And if we got a situation like this that happened, this would be a disaster. I'm just going to say that now. Then this goes, like I said, right through that I-95 corridor here. So are we going to get it anywhere near that threshold? We'll have to see what happens over the next couple of hours, but I do think, easily 8 to 10 inches of snow, 8 to 12 inches of snow will be isolated throughout here. Is everybody north of Savannah going to get this? We'll have to see. Savannah, Georgia, we're looking at, 5 to 8 inches of snow, maybe a little bit higher than that on some ends here with the HER model. Once again, these are model runs. Take this with a grain of salt. If you're north of that along here, maybe towards Valdosta, maybe 5 to 8 inches of snowfall. But we're going to have to see. We're going to have to see how this gets and where this goes if that heavy banding sets up. Back up here into South Carolina as well, we could easily see southwestern South Carolina in that 5 to 8 plus inch range, maybe 8 to 12 inch range there. And then along the beaches here, you get up here towards like Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, 5 to 8 inches, maybe 6 to 7 there potentially. And then up into the Carolinas, we get up towards Wilmington and we're looking at 8, maybe 7 inches of snowfall. That's if everything perfectly falls as snow with that ratios. And that's what we're thinking majority of it will be. We shouldn't see much of that mixing as far as things go. I'll go ahead and play out the radar here so you guys can also see what we're looking at. We'll zoom out. That snow line is already along Interstate 26 here and onto 77 south of Charlotte. So, like I said, Charlotte, you guys have got that moisture just to the south here. If you've not seen snow yet, I want you guys to understand something. If you're looking at a radar and you're seeing snow in your area and it's not falling, the reason why that is because you've got to think you've got 3 layers of the atmosphere, the upper levels, the mid levels, and the lower levels. That precip has to fall through all 3 levels and not evaporate. So with our dew points being so low, basically what's going to happen is it's going to start to fall as snow and it's going to melt, and then it's going to nothing's going to fall when it hits the ground. It has to saturate all 3 levels of the atmosphere. So basically it's going to take some time. So if you're seeing that snow on radar and you're like, why is it not snowing? This is BS. It takes time for that snow to reach the surface of the atmosphere before you actually get it to start sticking on the ground. So that's why. If you guys needed a little curiosity lesson there with that. Potentially, if you guys also do have snowfall reports, please let me know in the chat as well. I'll be looking on both ends here for you guys because that's actually really, really important. So if we're up here in like eastern North Carolina, if you live in Fayetteville or Raleigh or any of these areas here, please let me know because that's huge on my end of things and trying to figure out if these totals are actually going to validate or not. All right. Do I have most of my team in here, or are we needing help still? Yeah, so guys, all these little pink boxes you see are the winter storm warnings that are in effect. These have been out since about a day or 2 ago. So those are just basically telling you you're going to get snow. Let me go back to this map here real quick. Yeah, so once again, this is the HER model run. Just kind of take this with a grain of salt. We can look at the GFS too and see what it's doing with this. I'm also curious. Yeah, so there's the difference, guys. Her model and the GFS. So this is the GFS, the latest GFS run. Got a lot lesser snowfall totals. This is more of a realistic picture, I would say. The Her model, a little bit on the higher end solution of things, but both can happen. I want y'all to know that. Like I said, you know, could we see a dusting of snow as far north as the Carolinas? We'll have to wait and see. I think this model still is a little bit too far to the north than what our short range models are showing. And then if you look at the European model as well, the European's not going to show what I wanted to show, so never mind. Scratch that. All right, let me go back to the Her model here. Oh yeah, and also another thing I want to walk through you guys here is going to be that temperature plot. So once this system moves through and we see the temperatures behind this, it is going to get extremely cold. You can see the cold front, or the front moving through here. You can see, you know, there's not a big drastic difference in what the temperatures are now to what they're going to be tonight, but we should start to see those teens move into Mississippi, into Alabama, and eventually into Louisiana tonight. And then look at tomorrow morning, guys. This is at, we'll stop this at... Yeah, this is around 4 to 5 o'clock tomorrow morning. Look at this. We have single-digit temperatures in Lafayette, Louisiana. New Orleans sitting at potentially 4 degrees. Lafayette sitting at 6. Teens down here. So that black ice, guys, once again, I want y'all to understand, this is not going to melt tomorrow. We are going to see these single-digit temperatures. We're going to see these teens in place for at least 24, maybe 36 hours, and then the melting will start. There will be a little bit of melting tomorrow with the sun being out, but it's not going to be a lot. And any of that melting that does happen is going to refreeze once the sun goes down tomorrow night before Thursday gets here. So once again, it's going to be a long next 48 to 72 hours, guys, before we're anywhere near done with this. We've got single digits as far as the northern Mississippi, northern Alabama, and northern Georgia before this event is like officially even potentially close to being done and over with here as far as the cold air goes. So we'll keep you guys updated on that. Let me go back here, and I want to play the radar out because I meant to do that earlier and I did not do that for you guys. Yeah, if you live in southern Florida or Arizona or California right now, this is about the only areas that are above 32 degrees. Everybody else in the United States is at some point near or around 32 degrees or well below that. I know here in Kentucky it is in the single digits here, so we are freezing here. All right, let's run through the Her model here and kind of look at what we're going to be seeing with the next little bit. You can see that heavy band of snow will continue to work its way east. We're still going to see snow falling in eastern, New Orleans, at least until 5 or 6 p.m. tonight. So continuing to see snowfall totals in New Orleans add up. Gulfport, Mobile, you guys should be out of the snow by dinner time tonight. So between 7 and 8 p.m., that snowfall should be down. This is where I was also talking about seeing rain. So we're going to start to see rain. Straight, plain old-fashioned rain near the Jacksonville, Gainesville, Daytona Beach area. But then what's going to happen is that front moves in and those temperatures drop. You're going to be right around that 32, 33, 34 degrees temperature plots at the surface, which means with that temperature inversion, you're going to have ice and freezing rainfall. And so what's going to happen as we get closer to dinner time between Tallahassee, Apalachicola, Jacksonville, you're going to start out as freezing rain, which is going to add to those ice accumulations. And I really think that we could easily see 1/10 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch of ice somewhere along Interstate 95. So if you're in Brunswick, Jacksonville, Florida, this is going to be a mess, guys. You never want to start out as all ice and then have snowfall on top of that, because that's going to give you a thin sheet of nothing but slickness. And then you're going to add snow on top of that, which is going to add it's not going to be fun. I promise. It's not going to be fun. We should be all snow through Panama City and Tallahassee and Apalachicola by 8 p.m., 9 o'clock tonight. Pensacola, your snow dies down. Montgomery, yours dies down. Atlanta, like I said, Atlanta, guys, your snow is like within the next 2 hours, like 2 to 3 hours of maybe some snow flurries flying, maybe a dusting potentially of up to 1 inch. We'll see. Charlotte, you guys are up here for the next 3 to 4 hours. It's going to miss you guys mostly. Raleigh, Greenville, Fayetteville, you guys can see this looks like a damaging wind event moving through, but it's like I call a damaging snow event at this point. It looks like a straight old-fashioned cold front moving through. And this is where things get really, really interesting. I think our heaviest snowfall totals in South Carolina and in Georgia are going to happen between 9 p.m. and 10 p.m. tonight, where we have those white colors popping up. Those are typically 1 to 3 inches of snow an hour rates, potentially. You could see a couple down here. We could make up for that sleet and freezing rain that mixes in late tonight. We'll have to see. We should be all snow in Savannah, Georgia. Everybody that is along the East Coast, with the exception of Jacksonville, Florida, should be all snow from Virginia Beach down by no later than 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. tonight. We'll have to make sure that the radar actually validates and matches up with that. And then we'll kind of go from there at this point in time. And then if you work your way east here, like I said, guys, I am very, very concerned personally for Jacksonville and Brunswick. If we have 6 to 7 hours of ice or freezing rainfall in Jacksonville, we are going to have power outages, and I'm very, very concerned. And we're gonna monitor the situation through tonight. Power lines, guys, power lines snap and tree branches break with a tenth of an inch to a quarter of an inch of ice. That's 0.01 to 0.025. If this scenario plays out and we actually get this much ice, we're going to have a huge problem in this area. And it really, I mean, it goes all the way through 4 o'clock in the morning, and then you get like 1 hour of snowfall and it's done. So we're talking between initiation and Jacksonville, between Brunswick and Jacksonville, this starts by 8 p.m. tonight and you go through 6 a.m., that's 10 hours of freezing rain accumulation. I think that's way worse than what we had up here in Kentucky when we had our icing event 2 weeks ago. So most of this is off the coastline, guys, by sunrise, and you're done. So this is going to be out of here and off the East Coast between 6 o'clock and 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. Everybody should be done. It'll be cold behind this. Like I said, tomorrow, most schools should be closed. Most businesses should be closed. Tomorrow is a day to stay home and not go anywhere. Just something to be mindful of. Yes, I know we don't have a lot of power outages. I can actually double check on that real quick. We're going to pull up a map here and just kind of look at this. California, we have power outages from the wildfire. So this is Texas currently. So these are all down in the southern counties. So we don't have a lot where we actually saw our winter weather at. So that's some good news. Let's look at Louisiana and see what we've got. Yeah, Louisiana so far pretty good. We've got about 3,000 people in the state of Louisiana without power, so that's not too bad. Still 3,000 people, though, which is not good. And then we'll check down here towards Mississippi. We've got 336. Yeah, so what I really want to watch for is Jacksonville. And that's going to be up here towards the northeastern portion of the state here. So we'll watch that tonight as that freezing rain sets up. That is my most concern as far as where power outages are potentially going to happen, not personally. But we'll see. We'll see what happens here. All right, I'll answer questions here, guys, in just a second. Once again, if y'all will tap that screen for me, let's get the live stream to 25K likes. I do appreciate you guys very much. If anybody does want to support or donate, my PayPal is Mesomat. You guys don't have to if you don't want to, but it is there if you want to. But I do appreciate you guys for being here. We're going to be here for majority of the night. So also keep updated with the latest weather forecast. As always, I post 2 videos a day, as well as go live pretty much every day and cover anything that's going on. So we cover all 50 states as a team. That's what we do. All right. Let me look at the updated reports on these and see if we have anything different. Yep, so nothing's updated yet. We're still kind of waiting to see what's going to happen. All right, let me go back to radar here. I'll pull up my phone here and I'll answer some questions for you guys. Yeah, so Jacksonville looks like it's going to be all ice pretty much as of right now. And actually, let me get those. I meant to do that. Let me get those ice accumulations up here for you guys because I know y'all want to see that. That might be a little bit more beneficial. Bear with me here, guys. There is not going to be a blizzard in Virginia. That's not what's going to happen. I do want to clarify that. We had one blizzard warning that was through southwestern Louisiana this morning, but that expired. Virginia Beach is really the only area that's going to see snow, and they're talking 1 to 2 inches up there, if even that, with like 20-mile-per-hour winds. I'm not too concerned about Virginia Beach as far as those conditions go. Yeah, I'm going to get you guys to Jacksonville, Florida here. I'm trying to find my map that shows my sleet, snow, freezing rain. Here we go. So, yeah, this is a problem. I don't like to see this at all. This really makes me nervous for you guys in Jacksonville. If we get anywhere near a quarter of an inch of ice, so this is 0.23 through up to a half an inch between and around the Jacksonville area, this is going to be a widespread power outage maker for those areas, if we even get anywhere near those total amounts. Like I said earlier, it takes a tenth of an inch of ice, 0.01, to cause power lines to snap and tree branches to break. When you get up into that quarter of an inch and close to a half an inch category and you've got 8 to 10 hours of freezing rain, that's a problem. So where you see that pink at is where we're seeing that ice accumulation through tomorrow morning, and that's going to start here in the next couple of hours. we'll watch radar. We'll see as things play out. If you guys are in those areas and you're watching the stream tonight, please let me know. You guys can also send pictures to our socials via on X and Facebook as well, to the weather page on there, and we will update you guys, or we'll get those and we'll look at those as you guys send those in. So you guys can send those pictures those areas as well if you would like to. But I don't like to see that. That's really concerning. We can actually go a little bit more in depth on that precip. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens here. That is QFPF. That's not what I wanted. Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see what happens here. I believe that was a different run. Yeah, that was the Her 3K that came through with that. So we will see. All right, let me go back to radar here so you guys can see what we're looking at. And I'll get some more questions answered. Yeah, snow in North Carolina, it's going to be pretty much Charlotte and east of Charlotte. Majority of the snow is going to be along the beaches. This is going to be an East Coast beach maker for you guys that are in the beaches for snow. We can actually already see what's called kind of a dry slot. So we've got a gap in snowfall between Jackson and Baton Rouge, Mississippi here. So Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and Jackson, Mississippi. This happens a lot when you get so much dry air that's allowing, you know, the upper levels of the atmosphere to consolidate. You can get this to happen. So we may not be seeing snowfall there between McComb. This has kind of been happening for a good amount of time now. Good news is Lake Charles, you guys are done. Lafayette, you're almost done there, guys, with the snowfall falling. Baton Rouge, we're getting close. New Orleans, and it's just getting battered right now in New Orleans. We're still more than likely seeing snowfall rates of 1 to 2 inches an hour right now. Gulfport looking at 1 to 3. Mobile looking at 1 to 3. Pensacola in that range. Now we're starting to see a little bit heavier snow working its way towards Enterprise, just south of Montgomery, here in Alabama. So, you know, we're starting to see that transition. We're starting to see rain now move on shore towards Apalachicola. So I want you guys to understand this once again. If you're in the panhandle of Florida and you're in all denial that you're not going to get any snow or any wintry precip, this will start out as rain before it changes over to snow. We're not quite there temperature-wise yet. It takes time for that to happen. So we're going to see that shift east. For anybody up here that lives in like Tennessee, could we see an isolated snow shower maybe somewhere up here into like far northern Georgia and western North Carolina? We'll see, but there's not going to be any accumulations in those areas. It's not going to happen. We don't have enough moisture surging that far north. Valdosta, Georgia. Yeah, so let me get we'll do it this way too. This will be a little bit easier for you guys to see. At least hopefully. Let me get my snowfall pulled up on here. Once again, if you guys are not following on me on here, hit that follow button. I do appreciate you guys. We're going to be live for majority of the evening tonight. Yeah, so here's the Her model. So, once again, take these model runs with a grain of salt. We'll have to wait and see, like I said, where the banding set's officially up at. Looking at, like I said, Dothan, Alabama, maybe 3 to 5 inches. I'll give you guys that there. Over here towards Bainbridge, 3 to 5 inches, maybe an isolated 5 to 6, 7, 8 inch snowfall. Tallahassee. It's really up here, guys, that we get really, really concerned about for these higher snowfall totals. So, like I said, you know, Savannah, Statesboro, Vidalia, Hinesville, up here towards Charleston. I mean, guys, we're going to see a pretty good swath of 5 to 8 inches of snow up and down Interstate 10, 75, 95. We got a lot of snow to come. So once again, if you're hesitant or, you know, worried that you're not going to get any snow or concerned that, you know, this is all a bust, it's not there yet. It's going to take time for the snow to move in. Once again, when we are looking at a big snow event like this, it takes time for the atmosphere to have that snow fall. That's the understanding of the meteorology side of things. Having that atmosphere go from a very, very dry slot to a saturated slot from the upper levels to the lower levels, it takes time. So you might see, like I said, radar. If you look at your radar and you look at your weather app and you're like, all right, it's showing snow over me. Why isn't it snowing? That's because it takes time for that snow to reach all the way down to the ground. It's going to take time. You have to saturate the atmosphere, basically. That's, like I said, that's the meteorology portion of the side of this. Jacksonville, once again, Jacksonville, Florida, guys, it is a hard call. It's a wild card to me. And the reason I say that is if your temperatures are above 32, which is what it's forecasted to be, 32, 33, 34 at the surface, that's going to make you fall as freezing rain. And Jacksonville, Florida right now looks to be, you know, that Interstate 10 corridor between Live Oak and Jacksonville. This looks to be a very, very good corridor for freezing rain. And I bet you guys here in a couple hours, and about, I'd say it's just now 3 o'clock Central Time, so I'd say between 6 and 7, we'll get a mesoscale discussion that basically says freezing rain is going to start up here, and that's where that icing event is going to happen at. That's where my concern is for icing. All right. What you guys got for me in the chat? Charlotte, North Carolina, if you see anything, a dusting of snow. I got a lot of Charlotte people in here. I would not be holding your breath on Charlotte. It's not looking the best for you guys. If anything, a dusting of snow, and we're talking, a dusting is 0.01. So, yeah. Or 0.1, basically. Let me get back in here so I can read my chat. There is not a blizzard in it. So guys, by the way, for anybody that thinks that there is a blizzard going on in Atlanta, Georgia, first off, that's invalid. 2, that's wrong. And 3, for a blizzard to happen, you have to have wind gusts and sustained winds of 35 plus mile per hour for 3 hours of time and snow and visibility reduced to 1/4 of a mile. We are not seeing that in Atlanta. I can promise you that. The snow is going to be blowing for a lot of people because there is wind, but in order to meet that blizzard warning criteria like we saw in southwestern Louisiana this morning, you have to be seeing snowfall rates of 1 to 3 inches an hour with 1/4 of visibility reduced to 1/4 of an inch, basically. 1/4 of an inch to a 1/2 an inch. Or 1/2 a mile, not an inch, sorry. So let me pull that radar back up here and you guys can see what we're looking at. So once again, blue is snow, green is rain. We don't see any freezing rain or sleet right now, but that should start to change as we go towards Florida here. So yeah, once again, guys, the pink areas, all of this, these are winter storm warnings. Let me actually turn those off so you guys don't get confused because we all know that we're under winter storm alerts. So let me turn that off. There we go. A little bit easier for you guys to see now. Live Oak, Florida, snow potentially. You guys are going to see more freezing rain, sleet more than anything else. Yeah, so once again, guys, I see a lot of you guys say it shows blue over my area, but it's not snowing. Once again, if you are just now getting into that snow, that radar is just now starting to show snow. So Atlanta up towards like, you know, North Carolina, South Carolina, we're just now starting to see that moisture move in. So it is going to take time for the snow to reach the surface of the ground. You could see that the radar is going to show it because the moisture is high up in the atmosphere. Radar shoots out beams and basically gives us an observation of the upper levels of the atmosphere. It doesn't show us at the surface. Those surface observations come in from you guys either physically seeing it or, you know, satellites picking that up at the surface. And right now, if you're not seeing snowfall, but it shows it on radar, take time. It takes time to do this. This is how last night worked. It was showing snow in Texas, and it takes time for that to happen. So once again, we've got snow, the heaviest of the snow falling in southern Alabama. So Pensacola, Crestview, Enterprise, Destin, Montgomery, you got a heavier band of snow to your east here. I'm going to go back to that mesoscale discussion that we had here a second ago as well. So yeah, anybody in that pink shaded area here. So Biloxi, Mobile, Bruton, Andalusia, Crestview, Pensacola, Dothan, heavier snowfall is going to be ongoing through there for you guys for the next 1 to 3 hours. I still wouldn't be surprised if they issued a blizzard warning out of this, just due to the fact that things are interesting over there, to say the least, on things. We've seen the visibility models definitely go down. So yeah, I'll run back over these totals again, just to kind of give you guys an idea on what we could see, what we couldn't see. Once again, I do appreciate you guys for watching. I appreciate all the support. We are also live over on YouTube as well. If you guys are not following my other socials, that link tree is in my bio. If we're not live on here, we're live everywhere else. So make sure you guys do that in the future, depending on whatever decides to happen with this app down the road. I know we've got at least another 75 days on here, but God knows what's going to happen after that. Yes, I see that in the chat as well, guys. Make sure if you are below 32 degrees that you have your faucets dripping, open cabinets, below sinks to let heat in. Yes, absolutely 100% right on that. All right, let me go back to this last run. So once again, this is the her model run. This is what we could see through tomorrow morning. So your darker purples, your pinks here, that is basically what we call a 5 to 8 inch snow swath. Does this mean you're actually going to get guaranteed 5 to 8 inches of snow? No. This is the model thinking. This is what the models are thinking. And so far, once again, the her model and the Canadian model have been pretty spot on with this event since it basically started, which means, you know, I think we're going to see these totals. We could even see an 8 to 12 inch swath between eastern Georgia and southwestern extreme South Carolina. We'll just kind of have to wait and see what happens tonight. It'll be interesting. The idea of the fact that, guys, once again, if you joined the stream late, we absolutely shattered the New Orleans all-time record for snowfall today. The last time we had over 2 inches of snowfall in New Orleans, 1965. We broke that record today. We've seen over 6 inches of snow in New Orleans, and it's still adding up. So, yeah, once again, those snowfall totals, we'll continue to update you guys on those as they come in. Let me hit the refresh button and see if we've got anything else here. Believe it or not, the Canadian model, for the first time in a very, very long time, did very, very well with this system. And I looked at it personally a couple times. I don't really use the Canadian model too much. I usually go GFS Euro, and then once the medium and short range models get into play, we go NAM, we go HER, we look at everything. But the Canadian blew everybody's minds. I'm not the only one that was blown away by that one this time. That the HER and the Canadian did very good, and the HER model doesn't come in until 72 hours out, basically 60 to 72 hours out. So once again, we're still getting these updated totals in. A lot of these haven't been updated recently. Yeah, it's going to take time to get these in because they have to go out and survey these and get the actual reports in from people. So if you guys have snowfall totals and you measure them accurately, please send them to me via my socials. You can send me on the weather page. You can send them on X, wherever you guys are at. You can send them to me and I will look at those. Once again, as well, if you guys are not following me, I am actually a meteorology student. I do this for a living. This is my full-time job, so I appreciate you guys in here. I do have something to tell you guys as well. On the off topic of winter storms, we have a very, very interesting pattern that is going to be more than likely setting up as we go into February. We have not had a lot of severe weather, and this is something, if you're somebody that watches me a lot, and you guys know I talk about this, I am very, very, very in depth when it comes to severe weather conversations. The pattern and the oscillation models are very, very, very much favoring another ridge, basically an Arctic blast that's developing up in Canada currently. And the timing of that is going to be interesting to watch, because if the cold air mass comes down towards the end of February and beginning of March, as we start to see spring severe weather season get going in Dixie Alley and the Ohio Valley, we're going to see that clash of air with the Gulf of Mexico air. And we're basically going to get a bunch of severe weather that could be happening towards February and March. So we're getting to that time frame where we start to talk about severe weather. You know, Dixie Alley, Ohio Valley, those are going to be the areas this year that we really are paying attention to, due to troughing, due to oscillation models, due to just a million other factors. And it's never too early to start having your severe weather prep plans in place. And I actually think, personally, giving on what the some of the model runs are showing for next week, we could actually have a couple days next week of severe weather down in Texas and Louisiana. Just something to be mindful of. We're watching it closely to see what Euro and GFS and some of these other ones are going to do. But it definitely looks like we're going to have a return for some severe weather here soon, once some of this Arctic air gets back out of here and we get temperatures back to at least above average. So like I said, it's never too early to be thinking about those severe weather prep plans. Like I said, 2025 could be a big one in a nutshell, and I've got a lot of reasons on that, but we'll talk about that another day. Alrighty, what you guys got for me in the chat? I'm talking severe weather: tornadoes, damaging winds, hail. That's what I'm talking about. Not snow. Not on that. Not until a couple weeks out from now, basically. All right, Atlanta, Georgia, once again, one inch of snow, if you guys even get that. 1 inch of snow, potentially, if that. Once again, Jacksonville, Florida, you guys are going to have what's going to be a pretty nasty sleet, freezing rain mix for a good amount of time tonight. And then you might see, I don't even know if Jacksonville is going to actually get, you might see snow flurries fly. Are you going to get actual snow accumulation? The models don't really like it. Maybe an inch, maybe 2 inches if max, but it looks like it's going to be mostly freezing rain for you guys. Yeah, there's flurries north of Atlanta. Yeah, I would expect that. As far as like downtown Atlanta goes, the metro area, They got you guys in a dusting, if even that. Very, very, very interested to see what happens in Georgia and South Carolina tonight. This is where our higher runs are going to be at. It's where I really think those totals are going to be maximized at. Once again, we'll get more of those reports in. Once again, this is the ice accretion, at least on the HER model. This is the accumulated freezing rain. So that's the freezing rain. Let me look at the sleet and see what it does. Yeah, sleet's not too bad. It's more just that freezing rain. So if the models are right and we get this to set up, this will be interesting for sure. Because once again, this is the HER model. If everything kind of plays out the way we're thinking, we'll have a little bit of mixing. Oh, that's the new run. Be careful if you use generators outside. Yes, especially with snow falling. Be very, very careful with that. Yeah, and here's the problem. Like I said, ice accretion, right? Depending on what our surface temperatures are in the next couple of hours, we're going to start to see this freezing rain. That pink that you're seeing on the models here, this is ice. This is just straight up ice. So freezing rain falling, it hits contact, it doesn't melt, it falls as ice, and then you get power lines and tree branches. I really think once this is said and done and over with, this is where the most of the power outages are going to be at. It's going to be in Florida, northern Florida Panhandle. It's going to be down southeast. So we'll do that. Yes, guys, I cover all 50 states weather-wise. That is my job. This is my job. That's what I do. I cover all 50 states. So if there's something going on with the weather, we've got wildfires over in LA again, too. We've got another extreme risk for wildfires over there, but we'll talk more about that again in just a little bit. Brandon, good to see you over on YouTube. Hope you guys are doing well there. So Ashley, South Carolina, I saw that question mark. Let me get... Is it... Hold on. West Ashley South. Okay, hold on a second. Is it technically Myrtle Beach, I'm assuming? We'll go there. So this is between Myrtle Beach and Surfside Beach. So we're looking at, I would say, it really depends on, like I said, where the banding sets up. So 6 inches of snow, maybe 6 to 8, 5 to 8 inches there in Ashley. So we'll see. We'll see if that happens there. I would be safe with 4 to 6 inches. Higher amounts could be just north of you guys. It just depends on what falls. What officially falls. So, Statesboro, Georgia. You guys could have the highest totals out of anybody in Georgia, potentially, if the models are right. They're showing you right at that 8 to 10 inch mark, potentially. Down here towards Tifton, Douglas, anywhere from 5 to 8. Like I said, majority of people, I'll just do it over a bigger circle here. Majority of people that are in this circled box, you should know where you live at on a map, are going to be 5 to 8 inches of snow more than likely. And that's what that winter storm warning also covers. But there will be higher amounts somewhere in time there. Once again, back here in North Carolina, maybe, just maybe, a coating of snow, a dusting in that light gray there. Fayetteville, this is where you start to get the 1 inch of snowfall mark, I would say at this point, just south of Cary. So Cary, Linden Oaks, Fayetteville, this is where we get that 1 to 3 inch mark. And then along the beaches, Wilmington, looking at 5 to 8, Beaufort 5 to 8, Havelock 5 to 8, Jacksonville 5 to 8. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Nope, guys, unless you are along the beaches, if you are not anywhere else or up along the Great Lakes where the lake effect snow is happening, we've also got the wildfires over here. We've still got PDS red flag warnings over there, so make sure you guys are precautious over there. If you get issued evacuations, if a new fire were to happen, etc., take that in mind. We haven't seen any new fires start. I've been paying attention to that as well. We haven't seen any new fires start, which is really good, and they've actually got the last 2 fires almost contained over there, so that's also some really, really good news that's been going, but we still will have critical conditions and extreme conditions over there due to the Santa Ana winds. I think if you guys are in, here's once again, here's my biggest thing. If you are begging and hoping for a shift in snow, I'm telling you right now, because of the fact that this is going to be leaving tomorrow morning, the odds of a late shift, very, very, very slim. If you're up into like the Carolinas, so here's basically where our snow is currently falling at. Kind of take that with a grain of salt with a line there. If you're like up here in North Carolina, northern Georgia, you're going to see some snow flurries, maybe, like I said, up to a coating, if even that. That's 1/10 of an inch of snow. But as far as like actual accumulations, we're not going to get this big drastic short shift north. We're just, that's not a thing. That's not a thing. Apparently the app is just crashing, guys. Our app is just garbage today. I don't know why it's doing this. There we go. Radar Omega does not want to work today, but one day we need it too. No snow in Birmingham. You'll get some snow. Maybe a dusting. We'll see. We'll see. It's more along the East Coast and the Southeast that's going to get it, guys. So if you're in the northern counties or northern Georgia, northern South Carolina here, maybe some snow flurries, maybe up to a dusting. But as far as big accumulations, not really expecting much. Our higher snow accumulations currently right now are still in New Orleans. So if you're in Gulfport, guys, your visibility is about to go down tremendously. And that's going to be because we've got a heavy band of snow that's going to be working its way northeast. Yeah, Pensacola, Florida, you're stuck in this for at least another couple of hours. I don't think this is going to be out of Pensacola at least until 8 or 9 tonight. Yeah, a lot of people have got over a foot of snowfall in southern Louisiana. If you are east of the Lake Charles area, this is the area personally so far that I've seen that's been hit the hardest, and that's around Baton Rouge and Lafayette. Lafayette looks to be the area that has seen the highest totals so far than anybody currently. I think New Orleans will get close to that once these snow totals are done and over with. Montgomery. So yeah, Montgomery, you guys are seeing snow right now. I believe you're in that 1-inch potential spot. I'll have to go back and check here again. Let me actually do it this way. Yeah, so we've got reports of 1 inch of snow in Montgomery, so I would say that 1 to 3 inches potentially. Yeah, we've already got a report of 1 inch in Montgomery there, which is interesting. Or east of it, just east of it. We've already got 2 inches of snow just west of Troy. This is near, what is that? Rotige, Alabama. I'm probably going to butcher some of these cities wrong, guys, so just bear with me on that, please. Miami's fine. If you guys are in southern Florida, you're fine. There's no snow falling there. It's going to be warm, 60s and 70s. Might see some 50s overnight tonight for lows. Yeah, my Jacksonville, Florida peeps, you guys are in a mess. It's forecasted to be a mess at least. We could see over 8 to 10 hours of freezing rain up and around the Live Oak and Jacksonville area tonight. If you are hoping for snow in Jacksonville, no, it's probably not going to happen. We're going to be surface-based temperature-wise right below 32 degrees. Could we get a changeover back and forth? Maybe. It's very, very hard to tell when you get that mixing with your temperatures. But currently, as it stands right now, it looks like it's going to be freezing rain and sleet for a good 8 to 10 hours for you guys once this starts going. Valdosta, Georgia, you're going to be all snow. You should be all snow. We should be anywhere from 5 to 8 inches of snow for you guys. Local accumulations are a little bit higher than that. Augusta, Georgia. Let me go back to this forecast here. Let me do it this way. We're going to pull that snowfall map back up. So this new model run's coming in, so I'll get to that one here in just a minute. Augusta, Georgia, 1 to 2 inches, if that. I would say more along that 1 to 3 inch range. We'll just see what happens. You're in that winter storm warning as well. I'll just start typing in areas. I know you guys have so many questions. I'll just start typing in areas here at this point. Is it Dublin? Who said Dublin? Was it Dublin? Dublin, Georgia. Golly, I cannot type today, guys. 4 inches there in East Dublin. At least that's what's forecast on this model run. Yeah, the beaches are going to get it, guys. Statesboro. I really think, like I said, between Interstate 75 east of Tifton and through Valdalia and Statesboro, this looks to be the highest corridor that gets snow. Anywhere from 5 to 8. Could even see 8 plus, potentially. We'll see what happens. It's going to be historic for a lot of people. It will be. We've already, like I said, we've shattered records all over the board in Louisiana today. Rochelle, I can hear me echoing in the hallway. Also, guys, can we get a big shout out to my lovely weather team in here? We've got over 50 people in and out of the stream today helping get y'all's questions answered in the chat. If you see the little mod symbol and they at you in the chat, that is my weather team. They are helping get y'all's questions answered. I'm only one person and can do so much. There are 600 of you guys in the chat right now, so please give dubs to them in the chat. Really, really appreciate them for being here to help answer y'all. They are going to give you guys the same information I give you. I brief them for pretty much all the time. We do weather conversations all the time, so they are much in the know of what's going on. But yeah, I'm gonna see what this new Her model does coming out here in just a second. Let's check the power outages here as well. Y'all also might hear Hazel in the background. That's our 1-year-old. You might hear Richard as well. He's our 7-year-old. So both of our kids are also disabled, so you might hear them in the background. But we love both of our babies. They're amazing. And we love Roro. Yeah, that is true, Becca. That's a very good point there. So cat litter can also be used as traction if you do get stuck and you are out driving. There shouldn't be anybody out driving, but in case you do get stuck, that is an option. So we're noticing an uptick in power outages down here towards Parish of Louisiana. So this is what is that? Plaquemines? Yeah, Plaquemines Parish. 272 people without power. It's not too bad, but it's still 272 people in the dark. Look at these updated snowfall totals here. So once again, these are 24-hour reports. I know, guys, I'm going to tell y'all right now, these haven't updated in a good 2 to 3 plus hours. We are more than likely looking at 12 inches plus somewhere in this area here. We're definitely looking at 12 plus in the Lafayette area, if not way higher than that. Yep, Savannah, Georgia will be here soon. Most of you guys should start to see that snowfall after dinner time tonight along the East Coast there. This, like I said, this really will start more than likely after 6 p.m. All right, let's look at our new run that's coming in here. Let's see what we've got on the 12 and easy. Ooh, interesting. So, yeah, like I said, Jacksonville is going to be rain through at least 7 p.m. and then change over to straight ice. Now, this is also interesting. The latest Her run that's coming in right now has maybe a transition right along that snow freeze line, potentially for Jacksonville. So we'll see. Jacksonville's a fairly complicated forecast because if you do get mixing, it does cut down on snow totals. If you don't get mixing, then you get snow. So we'll have to see over time what it does. But we do think that there's going to be a pretty nasty ice corridor that sets up in the pink there. Let's look at these updated totals and see. See what we got. Let's look at freezing rain. Yeah, so that's just popping up on there. We'll have to come back to that. Yikes. Is this the snow depth totals on the Her? Hold on a minute. I'm gonna do some comparing here. Hold on a minute. Yikes. Yeah, so that's why we don't go off the 10-to-1 ratio. That's why we go off the actual snow depth change. So these totals are still really wild. If anything, they go up. I'm telling you guys, this is a hell of a historic winter storm. I've never seen anything in my life like this. I've covered storms since I was 11 years old, and I've never seen this before. This is 13 years of doing this. Yeah, my Charlotte people, I love you guys. It's not gonna happen. It's not. You guys might see some flurries. It's not gonna happen. I'm not trying to ruin anybody's mood, but it's so far to the south of you guys as far as the actual accumulation rates. If you're wanting snow in Atlanta or Charlotte or up into northern South Carolina, it's not gonna happen. I don't mean to bust anybody's bubbles, but yeah, if you're in Florida, guys, most people in Florida are gonna be fine. If you are south of Jacksonville down here, this is all going to be rain. We're not worried about snow down there. Snow's going to be just north. You might. This is going to be interesting. Do I have anybody in the chat that's from Tampa? Just out of curiosity, or Spring Hill? I'd say Spring Hill. Is there anybody in Orlando or Spring Hill in the chat? So if I've got anybody in Orlando or Spring Hill in the chat, I'm very curious to see if you guys see snow showers tonight. Let me know. I want to see if you guys get those because Y'all are not going to see any accumulation because it's the cold air is not going to make it that far south. But it's got a dusting of snow for the villages and Ocala, so we'll have to see. Also, to reiterate, Atlanta people, it is snowing for you guys. I know that. I do know that. But as far as accumulational snow goes, the highest extreme on snowfall in Atlanta looks to be an inch as of now. I don't think that's going to change. You can see not even an inch. They're forecasting 0.1. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm going to go back to this updated model run because this is interesting. Let's do regional. That's not what I wanted. There we go. So this is the 20Z run that's coming in. Let's go. Let's start in North Carolina. So we'll start in North Carolina. We'll work down south through the states here. We'll do it this way so we can get some questions answered. Maybe I gotta find North Carolina. There it is. All right. So North Carolina and South Carolina. So this is the latest 20Z her run that's coming in right now. Take this with a grain of salt because it's model runs. Virginia Beach, 1 to 3 inches. Majority of people in North Carolina. This is east of east of Raleigh. So if you're east of Raleigh, in that blue shaded corridor here, we could see easily. I would say from Fayetteville north, 1 to 3, 3 to 5 inches. It's really hard to tell when you get these isolated spots that pop up. So I'd say 1 to 3 in here, 3 to 5 kind of somewhere along the South Carolina, North Carolina line. And then once you get into South Carolina, this is where things get really interesting. This is where the models are really liking the idea of 1 to 3 inches of snow per hour once that heavy banding moves in, easily 5 to 8 plus in this area here, potentially. That's kind of my thought process. And then, the light grays and the dark grays, guys, like I said, this is what we call a dusting of snow. Like it takes not even an inch, not even a half an inch of snow. I would say up to kind of 1 inch at that point. So it'd be 0 to, plus 1 inch basically, and kind of in that range. And then down south into Georgia, we could see anywhere from 5 to 8 plus. So that's just kind of my thoughts on it. I need to look at our new GFS coming in as well and see what it's doing. Snow is, guys, I want you guys to know something. Snow is one of the most horrific things in the meteorology world to forecast. It sucks. It absolutely sucks. We were forecasting and talking about this winter storm 7 days in advance before probably anybody else started to talk about it, because that's what I do. I start to talk about things in advance because I like to see model recognition and pattern recognition, and we did a pretty good job with this one, I think, as far as what we were initially thinking on it. All right, so our GFS model run will start to update here. I will say, guys, once again, in Texas and Louisiana, it does look like there is a chance for severe weather to return potentially this coming Sunday. I know that's wild that you guys are sitting in the 20s and single digits now. You guys will be back into the 60s come the end of the weekend. So another thing that we'll just kind of have to watch and monitor. No, this is just an East Coast event, guys. If you are up in the Northeast, you're not going to see anything. Okay, guys, give me 60 seconds here. I'm going to step away for just a second. If you guys will tap the screen for me for just a second, I will be right back. Okay, guys, give me just a second here. Give me just a second here. I'm sending out a message. Okay, sorry, I was sending a message out to my weather team. All right, what do you guys got for me in the chat? Let me get some questions answered here. Let me go back to that new her model run. Yikes! So these just keep going up and up as far as these snow totals go. Georgia and South Carolina are going to be really interesting tonight. We got a 10-inch swath now near the, I believe that's, let me double check here on this run. God, if we get 10 inches of snow in southern South Carolina. Hold on, let me refresh the map here. Yes, guys, there is over 600 of you guys in the chat. Please, please, please be patient with your questions. I know there's only one of me. I've got my weather team in here trying to tag you guys and answer questions as well. They are going to give you the same exact information. So please, please, please. Also, no spamming in the chat. I will not answer your question if you spam. I'm trying to get to you guys as much as possible here. Oh, 20Z with a shift south. This is interesting. All right, so that was a little bit of a shift. Okay, so the higher totals have kind of shifted more towards Savannah and Charleston now on the 20Z run. So we're still looking at 8+ inches in this area. So that higher, lighter pink color there between Savannah and Charleston along Interstate 95 could be up to 8 to 10 inches. There is a pretty still big swath of 5 to 8 inches kind of up and down this corridor here as well. And this goes from Wilmington through Myrtle Beach down through central South Carolina and into central Georgia. That is interesting. And that is with the 20Z that just came through. All right. This is, guys, I'm telling you, this is such a tricky forecast. It is wild, the amount of snowfall that is ongoing. When we were looking at these model runs about not even 48 hours ago, we weren't even seeing 3 inches of snow in South Carolina or Georgia. And the amount of shifting and changing that these models have done is wild. With just today, the shift that we saw since last night is wild. We were talking 1 to 3, maybe 3 to 5. Now we're seeing, 8+ inches of snow possible in some of these model runs. So we're going to have to see what happens with this once this actually gets done and over with. But oh my goodness gracious. All right, let me pull the radar back up here. All right, Valdosta, Georgia, you guys are looking at, I believe, 5 to 8 inches of snow. That's my thought process with it. I believe National Weather Service as well is in that 4 to 8 inch range. Savannah, Georgia is going to be interesting. 5 to 8 initially, maybe higher than that if you get a heavier banding of snow that sets up. We'll see. So really and ultimately what's happening right now on the radar is all the blue is the snow, green is rain. This is what I call light snow accumulation, maybe like 1 inch an hour, if that. Back down here into southern Alabama, where we have those darker blues from New Orleans down, this is what we call heavy band snow. And that's basically, 1 to 2, maybe 2 to 3 inches of snow per hour that's developing, which is allowing for these higher totals to happen. This is going to work its way east through Interstate 10, up into Albany, up into Dothan. So Dothan, you guys are about to see your higher snowfall totals here as well. Here in the next little bit, but then this is going to move up into South Carolina and then Georgia. So we're going to have to watch this heavy band on where it goes, because that's where we're thinking that higher amount of snow is initially going to be forecasted at least over time. Yeah, Panama City will also, actually Panama City should be changing over here soon. I'm very interested to see, like, as well, when we're going to get that freezing rain ice accumulation to set up. Also, guys, I'm not worried about pronunciation. If I butcher pronunciation, I'm sorry. That's not my goal here. If you guys know what city I'm talking about, you guys should be good. Goldsboro, North Carolina. We'll go up to you guys here. I'll have to type it in because I don't remember exact on the dot. For you guys currently, I believe you were in that 3 to 5 inch swath. Let me double check again. 1 to 3 inches. 1 to 3 inches for Goldsboro. Rocky Mount, maybe 1 inch to 2. I don't expect much for you guys. You guys can also go to the National Weather Service as well and also type in your location via zip code and look up your snowfall accumulation rates there as well, if I don't answer y'all's questions, because there's so many of you guys in here. Yeah, I'm watching Savannah, Georgia, and Charleston really closely for higher snowfall concentration. We'll have to see what happens there. I appreciate you guys. Once again, there's only one of me and so many of my team members that are in here helping answer y'all's questions. Thank you guys for being in here. Thank you guys for trusting. I appreciate you guys. You guys have been awesome. I really thought this whole TikTok thing was going to mess up today, but it didn't. So I appreciate you guys for being here. If you guys are also not following, hit that follow button. Yeah, NWS, you can also look up your areas. Yes. Yes. Yeah, my Savannah, Georgia people will be interesting. Like I said, the models really like the idea of a very heavy amount of snow. We'll see if this validates. We'll see. Yes, if a mod wants to pin that, they can. Absolutely, 100%. Yes. Thank you, Kayla. I appreciate it. All right. I'm curious. We're just going to mess with something here. I want to see what the NAM did. We're going to do some model comparison here real quick. What did my NAM do? Did it do anything? The NAM was beyond wrong. Oh my gosh. No. I want the 3K. Yeah, the NAM model is garbage. This is why we don't use the NAM. That one's gone. Okay, this is decent. So this is our WRF ARW model run. Yeah, I think the models are really limited on a lot of these totals. Okay, yeah, I'm not a fan of this. All right, so we'll come back to that run later. Let's take the power outages here and see what we've got power outage wise. See if we've got anything interesting here. Most of the Louisiana's doing pretty good still. We've got 2,653 people without power in the state of Louisiana. Texas, we've got some issues for some people. 20,000, that's down south towards like the Corpus Christi area. And then Florida Panhandle, 2,000. Mississippi, 370. And Alabama, 2,000. So not too bad, but it's still people in the dark. So once again, something to be mindful of. Okay. Also, really quickly, if I have anybody that is in the stream that is over the age of 18 and would like to join my lovely and amazing weather team and do beyond wonderful things, this group is amazing. I have no words for this group. Send me a message in the in my DMs, and I will get with you guys once we're done tonight, whenever that is. And get you guys going with that. If you're interested in learning about the weather, I teach, as well as if you just want to help on the team and just be here to help in stream and do stuff behind the scenes, as well as meet 50 other amazing people, send me a message. We don't turn anybody down, so. I'm still really surprised we don't have another mesoscale discussion for the heavy snow, because this band is moving into Georgia now. So my Georgia peeps, if you're in Albany, if you're in Macon, you've got snow falling. Savannah, this is close to you guys. Tallahassee, this is close to you guys. So like I said, we're seeing that rain move its way in. So this is straight old-fashioned rain in the green. And then we'll have that blue in this is the snow. But like I said, back from New Orleans. New Orleans, you're getting done. You're almost done there. Gulfport, Mobile, Pensacola, Dothan, you guys are Dothan. You guys still have a long way to go as far as trending goes. Jackson, Mississippi, you're pretty much done. You're almost done. Tuscaloosa's pretty much almost done. Birmingham's still got a little bit way to go. Like I said, you're gonna start to see this band consolidate. So we're really more gonna see the higher snowfall totals really start to stand out, or the higher bands start to settle out and show out more. And all of this that you're seeing north of where I circled, this is what we call just dry snow falling. So it's either not actually falling all the way to the ground, or it's slightly falling to the ground and evaporating. So once again, we have broken records today. I mean, absolutely broken records. This is the latest 20C her model run, which is just wild to me still. If we get 8 inches of snow in Apalachicola on the her model run, that is going to be wild. Gainesville, Georgia, you guys, I believe, where are you guys at? Is it Gainesville, Georgia, or Florida? Hold on. Yeah, Gainesville, Georgia is seeing snow now. That's up there on the northern side of Atlanta. I would say not even an inch of snow. You're going to see flurries. Henderson, North Carolina, you're not going to see anything. No, there's no snow accumulation up in western North Carolina. Guys, I got 800 people in here. If you guys are not hitting that follow button, hit that follow button. I appreciate you guys for being in here. We do weather coverage for all 50 states. I post 2 forecast videos a day. I make my own forecast. I do this for a living. I'm actually in school for this, unlike half these other people on this app that think they're a meteorologist and they're not. But anyways, this is what we do. We are going to be here for winter weather season. We're going to be here for severe weather season, and we will be here for hurricane season. Yeah, once again, Jacksonville, Florida, we are going to be looking at the changeover to freezing rain / sleet eventually at some point. There might be a small transition toward the end of this event for snow, but currently, as of right now, we're not seeing anything quite yet. I'm going to double check on a snowfall total. Give me just a second, guys. So we're seeing reports potentially of already over 3+ inches of snow. And so Pensacola looks like we've got almost 5 inches of snow already. Ooh, interesting. All right, sorry. I was looking into something, y'all. All right, what we got here in the chat? Savannah, Georgia, once again, we're watching you guys for 5 to 8 inches of snow. Yeah, if y'all are in Florida, I bet y'all are having a fun time in this. If you're down in Georgia or areas that are never seen snow before, I bet you guys are having a lot of fun with this down there, right? I know y'all. A lot of you guys probably have never seen snow before. So once again, if you are south of Jacksonville, I would really say more south of like Palm Coast. Down here through Tampa, Miami, we're not going to see snow, guys. This is going to be all rain. That snow line is basically going to set up kind of like through Jacksonville, and that's going to be it. So we're not going to expect anything up through there. Once again, that is the Huron. We'll get a new 21Z in here soon. I need to look at... That is not what I wanted. I did not want my email to pull up. That is not what I wanted to do either. There we go. That's what I wanted to get to. Okay. Let's do this. Okay. I was just looking at something. All right, what you guys got for me in the chat? Question: Charlotte, North Carolina, potentially maybe up to an inch of snow if higher end scenarios unfold, but we're probably going to be more towards like 1/10 of an inch, which is basically a dusting. Raleigh, North Carolina, a dusting potentially. I haven't seen really shifts east of that. We'll just kind of have to wait and see what models do. We do actually have a little decent band of snow that's moving towards Durham and Raleigh here. Let's see what this does. This will also be interesting as far as what radar shows. Mississippi was too dry. Most of central and northern Mississippi was too dry. That's why. So basically, your low pressure system kind of originated here. It was bringing in moisture counterclockwise around the low through Texas. But as that band of snow and cold front emerged and developed, it basically kind of worked its way east like this. So if you're up here into like Arkansas, northern Mississippi, northern Alabama, Tennessee, too much cold dry air allowed for that moisture to stay shoved south. That's why we didn't see snow up here basically. Yeah, Atlanta, Georgia, up to a dusting, I would say. You've got snow in your area here, but the majority of it's going to be to your south. Birmingham's pretty much almost done. You got snow flurries to the south of you, but you're pretty much almost done. Actually, New Orleans, Gulfport, Mobile is still getting it. Still have a pretty pocket of not much of anything going on east of Hattiesburg. Savannah, Georgia, 4 to 8 inches. Another thing too, once we get this snow closer to the East Coast beaches, you're actually going to have what's called onshore flow that's going to help bring in moisture with that cold air, which is really going to help enhance those snowfall totals up and around the coastline. So that's why I said Savannah, Georgia, Charleston, Myrtle Beach, up through Wilmington, where we could see that higher swath of snow. Just inland, we'll have to wait and see, but it could set that up too. Just another thing to be mindful of. Gainesville, Florida, not really not going to see much. There might be some freezing rain / sleet that develops, but I'm not expecting any snow for you guys. Yeah, if you guys are able to measure your snow safely and let me know what those snowfall estimates are, that'd be also really, really awesome. Virginia Beach, 1 to 3 inches of snow. So, like I said, at this point, we're just going to be watching where those heaviest bands set up. We'll continue to give you guys these model updates as they come in fresh. Keep you guys updated on power maps, power outage maps. But really, this is what we're going to be doing as far as things go. Western North Carolina, not going to see much of anything. I don't expect any accumulation up there. Pennsylvania, no, guys. This is all going to be the East Coast. All going to be East Coast event. If there is anybody that would like to donate to stream today, my PayPal is Mezzomat. You don't have to do anything, but if you feel free and you want to, you can. I'm going to look at another discussion here. Yeah, all this snow, guys, this whole winter storm should be off the coastline by sunrise tomorrow morning. So we should be done between 6 and 8 a.m. I also, guys, we made history today in southwestern Louisiana. We had our first blizzard warning from Beaumont, Texas to Lafayette, Louisiana for the first time ever in recorded history this morning. So we broke that record. We also, as well, broke the record for New Orleans snowfall today, which was originally 2.7 inches set back in 1965 and is now at over 5. So wild things happening. Yeah, so, you know, guys, I don't expect really much ice accumulation unless you're, like I said, on the Georgia, Georgia, Florida line. This is where we're thinking those higher ice accumulations are going to be at tonight. Basically, what's going to happen is this rain is going to move in off the coast here for you guys, west of Apalachicola, and then it's going to start to change over to what we call freezing rain. So that's when your atmosphere is 32 or lower, your surface is a little bit warmer than 32, so it melts, so snowflakes melt, follows rain, and then it refreezes on contact as soon as it hits the surface. That's freezing rain. And so we could see anywhere from a 1/10 of an inch to a 1/4 of an inch, maybe an isolated higher 1/4 inch, but that's going to allow for tree branches and power lines to potentially break and fall down, which will be issues, and that'll be up and around Gainesville, Jacksonville area, Brunswick area potentially. There might be a late period where some snow transitions over. Just something we have to watch. But on top of the snow, if you're just getting straight up snow, what's going to happen after tonight as this snow moves through and through tomorrow, temperatures are going to be very, very cold. We're going to have single digits and teens and 20s that work their way through these areas tonight that are getting the snow. Therefore, everything's going to freeze. Everything's going to become black ice. Tomorrow, there'll be some melting when the sun comes out. Temperatures are not really going to get above 32 for anybody tomorrow. So that really is just going to kind of sit there. There will be some melting with the sunshine, but then once the sun goes down tomorrow night, we're going to have black ice again. It's just going to be a freaking disaster at that point. So as far as the ice goes. So do not drive if you don't have to drive. Yeah, Jackson, Mississippi is pretty much done. If you are west of the snow here, you're pretty much done. Lafayette, you're pretty much done. Baton Rouge, New Orleans, you guys are almost done in New Orleans. Almost done. Almost there. Guys, Atlanta, Georgia is going to be up to an inch of snow. Up to an inch of snow. There is snow falling in Atlanta, but the accumulations are going to be very, very limited because that moisture is actually getting ready to get shoved back east. So this is the main heavy band of snow. It is set up just outside of Atlanta. Could we get some accumulational snowfall of up to an inch in Atlanta? Yes, absolutely. Am I expecting anything really over that? Not really, no. Savannah, Georgia, your snow is off to the west. Basically, what's going to happen is this rain is moving into you guys. You're going to start to see rain first. It'll eventually freeze, change over to snow in the upper levels of the atmosphere and mid-levels, and then you'll start to see snowfall at some point. So this will be after dinner time more than likely when that snow does fall. All right, let me pull these totals up again. You guys can take a look. There's Hazel. Guys, we've already been on here for almost 2 hours, which is wild. I didn't even losing track of time already today. Yep, so here's the latest 20Z run. Here's the idea of what we could see on the HER model from snow. The snow's wrapping up in New Orleans. We're kind of already into that 1 to 3 inch range left over. So Gulfport, your snow will be wrapping up eventually soon. Mobile. The higher snowfall totals are along the beaches. So Savannah, Georgia, up to 8 to 9 inches, maybe 10 inches of snow. Charleston looking at potentially 10 inches. So we're really starting to see that those totals are getting shoved now back down to the southeast because the higher band of snow is going to be in this corridor here. So Brunswick up Interstate 95. Basically, Interstate 95 is going to be a disaster. Brunswick, Savannah, Charleston, Myrtle Beach, North Myrtle Beach, Wilmington, Jacksonville, along that 95 corridor is where everything is going to be the highest totals at. Once again, guys, if you are not experiencing snow right now, it is still off to your west. My Savannah, Georgia people, you guys have got to be patient. Your snow's not going to be there until after dinner time tonight. Just because you're not seeing anything right now doesn't mean it's not going to happen. It's off to the west. It's not just going to magically fall. I can't say that Charleston's not going to see it. I'm not saying that Charleston's going to get 9 inches of snow. I'm saying they could see up to, potentially. Okay. So once again, yes, this is one model run. If we go average model waddle rise, this is what I'm telling you guys. I'm telling y'all what the National Weather Service is saying as far as those winter storm warnings go, and then I'm telling you kind of my thoughts on what things are going. This storm, since we started with this yesterday in Louisiana, has done nothing but overproduced. Every single snowfall total in Louisiana today overproduced. We didn't see any totals in the Lafayette area or under the Baton Rouge, New Orleans area. They were under those high-end winter storm warnings tonight, or this morning, that did not exceed over 8 inches. Most people saw between 6 to 8 inches of snow east of Lake Charles. We actually had 14 inches of snow up in northern portions of Lafayette this afternoon as well. So we're going to wait to see those official totals in when they get here. Let me pull those up again. Hold on. Here we go. Let's see if we've got any updates. Yep, so we've officially gotten a report of now 10.5 inches in Lafayette, Louisiana, and that was as of 1 o'clock this afternoon, so that was about 2 hours ago. Majority of people, so Houston metro area, most people saw between 3 to 5 inches, kind of what we were thinking with that winter storm warning. We actually saw 5 to 6 inches up here in the portions of Beaumont. There was a 6-inch marker, a 5-inch marker in downtown Beaumont, and then east of that we actually had an 8-inch report down here in the where's this one at? Yeah, that's Grand Lake, Louisiana. But average wise, I think Lake Charles was in that 3 to 5 inch range. And then you get past Lake Charles and you get into this unknown category of like 8 to 12, 5 to 8, 8 to 12, somewhere in Lafayette. And I'm very interested to see what happens in Baton Rouge and New Orleans once these totals actually update. But this is what we've been seeing. We've been seeing this storm overproduce, and the way that things are going right now and the way that the models are showing things, the way that we're kind of seeing the radar trend with the models, I think some of these totals are still going to overproduce tonight. I'm not guaranteeing. So guys, if I'm telling you you're going to get snow, that is straight from the National Weather Service. So we're looking at models, but the predictions that are in those winter storm warnings are straight from NWS. So if you're under a winter storm warning from basically, central Georgia, south central Georgia up through the Carolinas, that's where we're expecting that higher swath of snow to develop. And that could be anywhere from 3 to 5, 4 to 8 inches. Could we see some higher totals than that? We'll have to see. But a lot of these models have overperformed, so I'm starting to agree with some of these higher range models. But the HER model is your basic short range model that shows what your radar is going to look like, etc. And it's done very, very good with today. The European and the GFS model did absolutely horrible with today's setup. Absolutely horrible. So I'm going more with my higher range model solutions because of the fact that we've done nothing but go high range today. That is why. So if you're asking why I'm only going off of the HER, that is because the HER model has been spot on with today. Also the Canadian. The Canadian's also done pretty good with today as well. I mean, you really can't beat these higher range totals because once these bands move in tonight, overnight past midnight, we'll really start to see things get more interesting. Also, if you guys have not hit the follow button, hit that follow button. What we're going to do here in just a little bit is get off and take another little break. And then I'm going to eat some real food because I've not really eaten a lot of food today and I need to eat. And then we will reconvene and get back on and again in like an hour or two. And we'll be on through the night tonight. So if you guys aren't following, hit that follow button. I'll give y'all about another 10 to 15 minutes. And then we'll take a break and then we'll get back on. Manders. That's fine, babe. That's fine. Yeah, make sure you guys are also following on all of my other socials as well. That way you guys can stay up to date on posts as well. Please, please, please. Starting tomorrow as well, guys, if you are new to the channel, one, I appreciate you guys for being here. Two, y'all are freaking awesome for supporting. Absolutely amazing. I appreciate it beyond words. I will be going back to doing 2 videos a day tomorrow. So I'll be posting out a forecast video on the morrow, and I'll be doing another one in the afternoon since we won't have anything going on. We are watching the return potentially for some severe weather this weekend down into Texas and Louisiana. Still a lot of things to figure out on that. So if you live in Dixie Alley, down in the southeast, be mindful of that. I know you guys are cold right now when you're seeing snow. That's going to warm up pretty quickly once we get into the weekend, and we're going to see another storm system move through with some rain and maybe some severe weather early next week. So we're going to watch that. We're also watching for the threat of maybe another winter storm next week in the Ohio Valley. Just something to kind of be mindful of and have on your radar as well. Not set in stone yet. Anything that is over 5 to 7 days on model runs, you take it with a grain of salt. But we will see what happens on that end of things. Sleeting in Oak Island, North Carolina. Ooh, you got sleet up there? Hold on, let me go to the single site radar real quick and see. There might be some sleet mixing in with it. Yep, there might be, actually. Yeah, we've got a pretty heavy band of snow, too, so you guys actually might get an inch or two in Raleigh if that heavy band moves through. That's what I'm saying, guys. Snowfall totals are so wonky when it comes to trying to forecast, because if you get a heavy band of snow or snow that sets up in an area that wasn't supposed to and you get snow, that's why the forecast makes complications. I have more of an issue, and any other meteorologist that you guys could probably listen to will tell you that there is more of an issue when it comes to predicting winter weather than there is any other scenario. If this was like rain or something like that, it'd be way more easier on the spot to predict. But as far as there being snow and different temperature differences with different areas, that is why it is so difficult to predict where that snow is going to be at. I've been studying weather since I was 6 years old, and I'm in school for weather. I've almost got my 2-year degree finished, so it gets worse every single year. I feel like trying to predict this stuff, especially when they're down in the East Coast or the South. Once again, if you are along the East Coast and you are under a winter storm warning or winter weather advisory and it is not currently snowing for you, that is because the storm system is off to your west. It takes time to work that snow in there, guys. That winter weather advisory and winter storm warning is in effect through tomorrow morning. Your snow is still off to your west. I hate to hear warmest. I know, right? So once again, my beach people along the East Coast, once this loads, there we go. We are just now starting to get that moisture to move into these areas. So it's going to take time. I don't expect this heavy snow to move into Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina until after tonight. Well, after tonight. Jacksonville, once again, very tricky. We're going to have about an 8 to 10 hour portion, potentially of freezing rain. That's going to really cut down on some of those snow totals. Could we see maybe an inch or two of snow at some point? We'll have to wait and see what happens tonight. Savannah, Georgia looks to be a pretty decent spot for snow, anywhere from 3 to 5, maybe 5 to 8 inches on the higher side of things. We'll see if that actually verifies or not. Tampa's not going to see snow, no. Virginia Beach, 1 to 3. Birmingham, you're pretty much almost done with your event. I would say up to a dusting still, maybe an inch on the high-end scenario. If anything, we're just to kind of give that wiggle room if a model run doesn't do what it's supposed to do or if the storm shifts slightly. But once again, Louisiana, we're almost done. New Orleans, you're almost done. The heavier bands are actually set up over Crestview right now in Pensacola. So this is where our heavier snow is at. 5 in Mobile. That sounds about right. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That definitely sounds about right. Once again, guys, also thank you for the 30,000 likes almost. We've had over 33,000 views on this stream for 2 hours. I appreciate you guys. Also, thank you for all the gifts as well. Yeah, Raleigh, you're going to get some snow. 1 to 3 inches is kind of my guess range. Atlanta, you've got a band of snow just to your east there that's kind of set up to an inch. It's just still my thought process there. Yeah, enjoy the snow, guys. Get out and enjoy it. Get out and enjoy it for sure. Alrighty, guys. I'm gonna get off here and get some stuff done, and I'll be back and reconvene with you guys here in about an hour or two. I'm gonna shoot for 5 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Central. If you guys aren't following, hit that follow button. We will be live again here soon. I'm gonna try and get you guys through majority of the night tonight. That is my goal. But other than that, I appreciate the support. You guys have been so freaking awesome today. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Once again, if you are interested and you would like to join my lovely, amazing weather team, that is, once again, I have no words for how much help they are. They are amazing. Send me a message and I will get with you guys ASAP on that. But other than that, guys, thank you, thank you. I love y'all. I appreciate you guys. And I will see everybody back here again in just a little bit.